Email the Car-Boyz. A car, if you want to get your do all this stuff. Basically, look at this, press pause, and if you would like to get a suggested place for us to go and explore Puerto Rico Tourist Board, you can write to us and say, "I've got a lot of highway you guys haven't featured, and some rum to give away." Now it's time. It's time in this part of the show to take a pensive moment and while I cue up the music and take a look at something that's been bulging and overflowing. It's the mail sack. It's a big one this week. There you go. Very medieval.
There you go. The mail sack, which cannot be seen on our OnlyFans page because we don't have one. We have an email from a viewer called Carl from Washington, Tainanwea. He says, "Why, hey, Car-Boyz," he says Carl. He's got an issue with a very old Renault Espace. Yes. The issue is it's a Renault Espace. No, that's
hey, well done.
It's a 2003 model. It's been mostly good. It's his second car, and he uses it to pick up his kids from school. They do weekend shopping in. He says the heater is not blowing hot air, and sometimes there's a wet patch on the carpet. I know how he feels. So he says, well, the second is probably what you get from taking grandma to the shops.
That's the wet patch, isn't it, grandma?
Hey. It says, what's the answer? So first thing I would have gone, if it's going cold,
yes,
is the heater matrix and the pipes leading to the matrix. Because one's going to be hot, one's been cold, and the way to tell this is obviously if you leave your engine running for a bit and let the water flow, if you hold the pipes that go into the bulkhead, if it's hot, the water's flowing through it and the water's heating up. So then that way you know whether the heat is going through, and it's the matrix. Little tip for you.
If the matrix has gone, that's very good. You can go online, internet auction site. They'll be able to. We had a look at second-hand ones, but I found a brand new one for your car for £50. So it's an easy fix, isn't it? 50 quid.
That's pretty good, yeah.
And there's probably another 50 quid for a garage. It's Tyne&Wear, so another £5 for a garage down there.
A packet of cigarettes and chips.
Yeah. Oh, that's three pence, and you can have a good neat out in Tyne&Wear. I have actually been to Washington many years ago. I think about 40 years ago I went to Washington. It was great. Lots of memories. Meanwhile, thank you very much for that. Cheers, buddy. Hope that helps. Oscar is from Vancouver. He says, hello from Canada, Car-Boyz. What's that all about? He's just started a new teaching job at the local high school. He's graduated from college last year. He's been driving an old beta car. It is a 1994 Chrysler LeBaron. Look at this dog, which he inherited from his uncle. It's finally giving up the ghost. It needs too much welding. It will not start in the mornings. He needs a reliable car now that he's got to commute 20 miles to work. Now his uncle, who is buying a Lexus, is offering him, his uncle's great, his old 2004 Honda Civic.
Where's a picture of Danny DeVito? Is that his,
we need Danny DeVito back. Where's that gone? I don't know where that picture's gone. Hey, come on, kid. I'll tell you what, car. So what happened is he's getting rid of this car, which is his 2004 Honda Civic 4-door DXG Auto. The car's in good condition. It's got 110 on the clock. It's got a full service history. His uncle wants $2,000, which is about £1,000. What do you think? I think your uncle should bloody well give it you for free if he gave you this piece of crap to start off. Look at Le Baron, Le Grand Merde, more like. So you've struggled with this crap through college.
Yeah.
And then he's going, I got another shit car that I want you to have, kid. Come over here.
Well, throughout his life will be punctuated by shit cars that his uncle's given him.
In 10 years, I'll get rid of this shit Lexus. You can have that as well. To be fair, this has got low mileage. My father has the same car, but the coupe version, which he loves. And he can't kill it. I think these were manufactured. They may have been manufactured in Canada. My dad's was manufactured in California. It's got 115 horsepower. It's got a 1.7 litre engine. It's not a fast car, but it's going to be more reliable and faster than that old Chrysler. it's not going to be fast. What it will be, I should say, it's reliable. It's got the VTEC engine. As long as it's been regular serviced, you will get £250,000 out of this car, miles. For £1,000, drive it into the ground. I would ask your uncle if he'll take the LeBaron in part exchange.
Yes.
Come on,
it's
you
only
can take
fair.
this dog back. Give me $250, $500 off the price of this. If you buy this,
Yes.
I guarantee you're going to thank me for buying this car, because this will be a reliable, boring car. But my dad will not. My dad just every year something else goes wrong with it, and then he gets it fixed for a couple of $100, and then he carries on driving it.
And especially if this is like your second car,
Well, totally.
then why not?
Yeah,
you want something that's not going to cause you
I
issues.
think you should be questioning your uncle though, because he does sound like he does sound like a bit of a, hey, you know that LeBaron I sold you? I got it even better, Qua.
It's his uncle.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Oh, you mean like that? One of those? Hey, Uncle Tommy, there's 3 bodies in the back of this, mother. Get rid of it for me, and I'm going to get you a new car. You'll be wicked smart when you drive this. Yeah, honestly, the Honda is all that crap. The LeBaron it'll have had loads of problems with. This is just muck. This is a reliable, boring car, but I would just jump on it, buy it for £1,000, $2,000.
Doesn't matter if it gets dented, anything like that.
Just drive around. And honestly, I swear, and also there's a whole industry supplying. So my father's boot catch went. The little plastic switch underneath the dash.
Yeah.
So my dad had a pair of pliers on it, and I was like, "This is embarrassing, Dad." Every time I wanted to open the boot, the end stuck out. Basically, just needed the new plastic. He didn't want to buy the whole cabling assembly.
Yeah.
And a little company in Michigan sells one for $15. So it cost me $15 to get the catch, and then the guy in the garage, I think, fitted it for £20. So all done, all sorted, and certainly better than my uncle using that. Sorry, I should say my dad. I'm thinking of my other uncle.
Hey.
This one. Hey, come on, buy this car. And it's a fixable, easy, reliable car. Never had problems with the engines. And my dad's got 120 on the clock. We're still on the original exhaust.
Cool.
And it's a 17-year-old car.
Fantastic.
Buy one of those.
So there you go. Email from Stephen in Stevenage. There you go. He says, howdy, car blokes. Howdy?
Yeah.
Howdy.
Stevenage.
Could be American Stephen, isn't it? He says, howdy, car blokes. You guys are talking about the change from E5 to E10 petrol in September in the UK. We did this on last week's show.
Yes.
I drive a 1999 Toyota Camry, but I'd really prefer not to have to sell the car and run it on expensive fuel. It's a solid motor, but I just can't find if you can put the new E10 fuel into the tank. Can you help? So this was last week's show. If you didn't see last week's show, look on one of the links. It will tell you.
So basically, E10 contains 10% more ethanol by volume than E5. As a general rule, most cars post 86. I looked this up. Most cars post 86 can run on E10, whereas most cars that once ran on leaded fuel or a carbureted cannot. This is due to the ethanol component, so it's 10% rather than 5%, carrying more water by volume. The water present in this fuel can cause corrosion on the engine or fuel parts and cause a buildup of engine residues. Some cars that are compatible with 5% ethanol are not necessarily also compatible with 10%, so caution must be taken when referring to the car's fuel requirements. But I had a look online, and as far as I can see, any Camry produced after 1990 should be fine, as they're not carbureted. I'd be tempted to run a third tank on the super unleaded, as it's an older car with a huge engine. This thing's got a 3-litre V6. Ooh, nice. I do this with my Accord. So my Accord's 2.6, something like that. And I put every third tank, I stick the good juice. I spend the money. I put the expensive stuff in. I don't know. Maybe it's just a mental thing with me.
I do it all the time.
Do you? Do you do it all the time? Okay, won't tell anybody. It does feel like I go faster, or maybe that's just my heavy foot. But anyway, I do think, yeah, you'll be fine to do that. Japanese engines are solidly built. I mean, as long as you're not trying to put terps or cooking oil in it, it's going to be fine. What do they call it in Australia? My brother used to run a classic Golf GTI, and they said you can't put the E10 in it. And as the mechanic said to him, mate, that's weasel piss. Don't put weasel piss in one of these. And he wasn't from South Africa. Finally, we got our final one. Michel in Toulouse. Bonjour, voiture garçon. Vous êtes bien? Oui, nous sommes très bien, merci. So, voiture garçon, of course, meaning Car-Boyz. Voiture garçon. She says she's in need of some advice. Oh, actually, this is quite apt in a week that I think they've just banned Pepe Le Pew. Pepe Le Pew, yeah, Pepe Le Pew has been outed because he's far too many Me Too moments with cats that have accidentally got white stripes of paint on their back. Him and Speedy Gonzales, which is racist. What I was going to say, if you say arriba, arriba, ondale, ondale, all I think of is Speedy Gonzales. Yes. That's how I first learned about Mexican culture. I was 3 years old. So she's French. She says she's needed some advice. She's got an old Suzuki Jimny.
Ooh.
We'd all like one of those. And she said she uses it to commute to and from work in Toulouse. That's a round trip of 15 miles. She also uses it to visit her parents who live in the Pyrenees. It's got 4-wheel drive. So she needs winter when traversing mountainous roads when it's the winter. She said that the Jimny, it's old now. It needs more work than it's worth. It's 20 years old. Time for an upgrade. Is there a small car with 4x4 capacity or an all-wheel drive car? She needs to maybe drive every month up into the Pyrenees in winter. She's got 10,000 euros. So if you're already driving a Jimny, why don't you just go and buy a new one? Just buy another Jimny. I hired one of these in Corfu years ago. It was great fun to drive around. This is a 2012 model, 1.3 litre petrol car, 58 on the clock, very good condition, full service history, 2 owners. That's in Marseille for 9,000 euros. They've got a new model out since this one came out. So this is, the new model makes the old model cheaper. Why not just go and buy those? Alternatively, if it was me, I'll go for a 2011 Toyota RAV4. We found a 2.2 litre diesel, 75 on the clock. I haven't got the picture with me, but 75,000 on the clock. 3 owners, good condition, black, 4-door, bigger car, exactly the same price though. A much more reliable and a much more comfortable car to drive than this. This is all right, but it's not that comfortable to drive. A 2.2 litre diesel RAV4 is going to be a nice, comfortable car to drive. It'll perform as a 4x4 when you need it.
Can I just say, with that Jimny picture, the white Jimny, was it 1.3 litre engine?
I think it was, yeah.
I'm loving the little air box at the top of the bonnet.
Yeah, what's that for?
Good.
Is that for anything? No. No. What is that? No. Does that actually go anywhere, that air scoop?
No.
When I was at school, there was a gang of lads that used to drive around in old Austins, and one of them jacked up a Princess, the last version of the Princess, which looked like a wedge of cheese, but he jacked it more, put a friggin' air scoop on the bonnet. I was like, why? There was never a turbo on that engine, unless he'd fitted a turbo. It looked awful. It looked ridiculous.
I've got a hood scoop on my car.
But do you need the hood scoop?
It's where the turbo is, but on the original Mini, it's where the supercharger was.
So you haven't got a supercharger?
So, no. But it looks quite good because when you stop, the heat comes out. Oh,
well, there you go. It does. It vaguely does something then, I guess.
I did see I can't remember what it was, and I was driving at the time, so I didn't get a picture. But there was a really crap car, and I can't remember what it was, but they had put bonnet vents in there. And I just thought it was a really, really shit car.
I know the new Kia Stinger has bonnet vents that don't do fuck all.
There's a lot. That's the new trend of cars. Lots of vents that aren't actually vents.
I've got a feeling that the Hellcat has got fake lights. So it's got some lights, and then within the lights, supposedly they've put in that's the air intake to cool the car down, except behind it is blocked off. So, or then they've got something fake on the side of the Stingers. I think the Jaguar's got something. The last model of the XK has got some fake stuff behind the front wheel.
And bear in mind, a lot of cars have got grills, but don't need them because if they're electric, you don't need that grill.
You don't need the cooling air.
Mm.
Aesthetically pleasing. That's what it's all about.